Florence chaotic and breeding grounds for disease. Despite her family's disapproval, Florence began visiting hospitals in London and across Europe. And religious community. There, she observed Pastor Theodor Fleidner and his deaconesses caring for the sick. She returned as a capable healthcare reformer. In October 1853, the Crimean War erupted between Russia and an alliance of Britain, France, and the Ottoman Empire. News reports from the front lines, particularly from journalists, Nightingale, having anticipated the need, was already making her own plans to go. She quickly assembled a team of 38 volunteer nurses from diverse backgrounds. They set sail for Scutari, a district in modern-day Istanbul, Turkey. Upon their arrival at the Barrack Hospital in November 1854, they were met with a scene of utter chaos. The hospital was a former Turkish barracks, vast and dilapidated. It was situated on top of a massive cesspool, which contaminated the air and water. Thousands of soldiers were crammed into overcrowded, filthy wards. Basic supplies like soap, bandages, and even clean water were virtually non-existent. Vermin, such as rats and lice, were rampant throughout the building. More soldiers were dying from infectious diseases like cholera and typhus than from their battle injuries. The military doctors were overworked, resistant to civilian help, and wedded to bureaucratic inefficiency. Nightingale refused to be deterred by the horrific conditions of the hostile doctors. She immediately began to organize her nurses and implement sweeping changes. Her first priority was to scrub the entire hospital from floor to ceiling. She used her own funds and money from the Times of London to purchase essential supplies. She established a large laundry to provide the soldiers with clean linens and clothing. A special kitchen was organized to cook nutritious, failing food for the patients. She understood that proper nutrition was essential for recovery. Nightingale also tended to the soldiers' psychological and emotional needs. She established a reading room and library to provide a diversion for the convalescing men. Her most famous act was her nightly rounds through the dark, silent wards. Carrying her lamp, she would check on each patient, plummeted from 42% to a mere 2%. Her work in Crimea had saved thousands of lives. When the war ended, she returned to England in August 1856, avoiding public celebrations. She was now a national hero, but she shunned the spotlight. She was granted an audience with Queen Victoria and Prince Her fight for sanitation began with simple things like clean bandages.